Deep in the piney woods of East Texas, the welcome mat is out.
It's more than a destination. It's Palestine, Texas.
So let's say howdy to the town's police chief, shall we? He says he knows why I'm here, but he won't tell me. Oh, why am I here? Sir. Don't push me. Why am I here? I'm not in your face. Why am I here?
We have a council meeting.
Hasn't started yet.
Mark was just a bully in general. I mean, a big adult bully.
Former Palestine cop Justin Carlson now has a podcast called Failing Justice.
It's a small community, but it's very crime-ridden. There's multiple prisons out there. People parole out into Palestine, and so that also boosts the crime rate.
And Carlson doesn't pull any punches either when it comes to his former boss, our new buddy, the chief.
It was a toxic work environment. There were borderline illegal things going on, just a lot of preferential treatment to citizens who were friends of the police chief when it come to investigations.
Friends like Charlie Smith, whose family runs the Roundhouse package store just a couple of blocks from police headquarters. The welcome mat wasn't out here either. I'm with Dolcefino Media out of Houston.
You can leave my store, please.
Is this your store?
It's my father's store.
Actually, the Roundhouse liquor store is in his wife's name. Charlie has a felony gun conviction, but he's friends with the town's bigwigs, the local state rep, the county judge, the district judge, the sheriff, and the police chief. I offered you to come outside and talk to me. Where are you going? 3 years ago, Charlie Smith was accused of beating up his daughter's boyfriend. Carlson remembers his sergeant's phone call to the chief.
Hey, this Charlie Smith over here. How do you want us to handle this?
Smith was not arrested, despite video evidence.
You know, Mark was shaking his head, and he said, there might have been brass knuckles involved. And he kind of gave us a wink and a little smirk, you know.
The DA later charged Charlie Smith, but the case was later dismissed. Where are you going? But it's not the only time Charlie Smith avoided handcuffs in Palestine. And the other incident, it involved alleged sexual assault of the town's female mayor at the time.
Groped me multiple times in between my legs. It was shocking. Then his hand went under my behind and then down all the way to my knee and then back up to my crotch.
It is your local election headquarters, and voting in Palestine for the mayoral runoff race closed yesterday.
Dana Goolsby was the first openly gay mayor in Palestine's history. Surprisingly, that didn't seem to be an issue, even deep in the heart of East Texas.
I'm not saying that Palestine is a little liberal enclave, because it's certainly not, but I paid my dues and I work hard, and people knew it.
But in 2 short months, Goolsby had made a powerful enemy. She had made the police chief and many of his officers angry over questions she had about alleged police overspending.
So it's really just tricky and hard to discuss it, but I just don't see that this is egregious.
A website calling for her recall went live. And just a few days after that contentious city council meeting, Goolsby attended the opening of this local steakhouse. And that's when she says Charlie Smith, the chief's buddy, in front of witnesses, assaulted her.
He said, "Yeah, that's right, I'm grabbing the mayor's ass. What are you gonna do about it?" And then he reached in and grabbed me again.
Mayor Goolsby said the police chief arrived at the steakhouse a short time later for the big town shindig.
And then the chief showed up about 30, 45 minutes later, and I told him what had happened. Charlie was still there, and he said, sorry to hear that.
Goolsby has since filed a civil lawsuit against Charlie Smith. It's still pending. But what happened after the incident makes this case of small town injustice one that everyone in town should be talking about. Except the local paper didn't print a word about this alleged scandal. The mayor says she took a criminal complaint to the local DA and the Texas Rangers. But Charlie Smith was never arrested. There was no grand jury. Goolsby was told to file her complaint instead in municipal court, like a traffic ticket. It was eventually dismissed by a special prosecutor. But Charlie Smith did send flowers after the incident and left this voicemail on Goolsby's phone.
Very embarrassed. I don't know. I just need to talk to you in person. I'm truly sorry.
It was very hard for Chief Harcrow and I to work together. I found it impossible to work with him if he's hanging out with a man that thinks he can grab me anytime.
Dana says in the weeks that followed the alleged steakhouse attack, she was repeatedly warned to drop the complaint against this popular liquor store owner.
Councilman Frazier told me that I was stupid and that it was no worse than a speeding ticket.
She says another councilwoman, Larissa Lovelace, passed along a threat.
They told me to tell you that your window of opportunity to drop this case against Charlie is closing. And if you don't, you better get ready.
And she says former supporters Scott and Sarah Johnson were leading the pack. This is video of Scott giving us all a small taste of how they party in small-town Palestine at night.
You put it in there, and you spank it, and you spank it, and you spank it, and you spank it.
I don't know if I've been to many meetings in Palestine that there wasn't booze or something. It's a party town, and it's a cliquey party town.
And I had a couple of questions about you. We're investigating a case that occurred at 1855 Steakhouse. I was wondering if you can give us your side of the story.
I cannot. No, ma'am.
Sarah Johnson is the chief guidance counselor for the Palestine high school, but she apparently used her school district computer for something far less educational, a calendar of mostly naked pictures of a local friend. Here he is, adorned with a police hat and patches. Here he is in what looks like Charlie's liquor store. Luckily, he's got his sombrero. Friends are like condoms, the calendar reads. They protect you when things get hard. The Johnsons were close friends of Charlie Smith and the police chief. They even partied together on vacation.
Her and her husband had people come to me and tell me that if I didn't drop the charges against their friend Charlie, that they would press charges against me. And I really didn't have any idea what that meant other than it would be retaliatory, but I had no idea how they would do it.
By February of last year, Dana Goolsby said she had simply had enough.
Because I couldn't get any justice. I couldn't work with the people. I wasn't going to do anything else beneficial for the city of Palestine under those circumstances.
On Facebook, she wrote, "I have loved Palestine with a sincere passion for a long time. Today, I'm going to show my community the biggest act of love that I can by stepping down as your mayor."
I was not going to stay in office for a whole extra year, a whole nother year, to not get anything done and to take that kind of abuse from them.
And the mayor knew that Sarah Johnson was suddenly making accusations that Goolsby had assaulted her 2 years earlier at a town Mardi Gras party.
She claimed that at a Mardi Gras party that I groped her multiple times and that people had to protect her from me.
Did you do anything at that Mardi Gras party?
No, I did not grope her.
And that sudden decision to complain about an alleged assault that happened 2 years earlier? Well, the Palestine Police Department this time said, sure, we'll accept that charge. And that's why we wanted to talk to Chief Harcrow just minutes before City Council.
Why did you not take Dana Goolsby's complaint, yet took the complaint against her that was filed 2 years later?
You're welcome to speak with the city attorney.
Well, I'm talking to you. You're the guy that runs the police department, aren't you?
We have a meeting to do.
Okay, well, when it starts, we'll stop talking.
Sarah Johnson dropped the criminal charge against Dana Goolsby just 1 day before the scheduled criminal trial. The former mayor is now suing Johnson too, along with Charlie Smith, but she wants the rest of the folks in Palestine to know the truth. Sonia Martinez was at the Mardi Gras party where the alleged assault that helped bring down the mayor happened. She claims the cheerful friend Dana once was ceased to exist after the false allegations were made against her. Quoting, "The suffering and pain caused by Mrs. Johnson's plan to ruin Dana has left a long-lasting traumatic and unforgettable effect for not only Miss Goolsby, but her family, her friends, and a community that needed her."
What I want is obviously to clear my good name. I've never had any kind of problems like this before in my life. But as much as anything, I believe it's in the public's interest to know that their public officials are corrupt. And I believe it's important to know what happened to me because this is notorious Palestine antics. It's a consistent circus. It's a consistent charade of drama constantly down there, and It's almost always to do with public officials.
Like the police chief and his buddy.
You think the chief covered up for Charlie?
Absolutely.
But after her tires were slashed and rocks thrown at her house after she resigned office, Dana and her wife Melissa have moved far away from Palestine to Marfa, Texas. It's still kind of quirky, but a lot quieter.
I really thought that I'd grow old there. And so it's sad. Of course, I never thought I'd leave Palestine, or if I did, I thought it'd be feet first. I want the people of Palestine to know that I didn't run away because I was scared of anything, but I also had to get away from there to accomplish this, to make things right.